Let's go back to 15th century Japan and learn the story of Tanaka Saburo, a boy who grew up in a small village in Japan, and learn about his transition from a commoner little boy up to one of the most storied figures in history, the ninja. What he went through mentally and physically at such a young age is absolutely mind-blowing. It's an amazing story. This is the story of Tanaka Saburo. My name is Tanaka Saburo, and I'll tell you how I became a shinobi. You call it a ninja. I was 8 when father told me my life would no longer be the same. At first I was excited, but I had no idea the extent that I was going to test my mind and body. No matter how hard it became, I couldn't turn back. To the villagers, we were rice farmers like any other. In spring, we bent low in the paddies, pressing green shoots into the flooded land. In autumn, we swung shickles to cut the golden stalks, bundling them into sheaves to dry on wooden racks. But even as a boy, I sensed another life beneath this one. Visitors came at night, men who did not wear bright armor of samurai, but moved with the same sharpness. They spoke softly with father, and then they were gone before morning. That morning, before the mist had lifted in the paddies, father pressed the bamboo pole into my hands and said, "You begin today." I thought I was being punished for laziness in the fields, but when he led me to the ridge above the village and ordered me to run, leap ditches, and balance along the narrow paddy edges, I understood. This was no punishment, it was a beginning. Training began before sunrise, before the village stirred. Father woke me with a touch on the shoulder, and I stumbled into the cool air. My first task was always to run in the narrow ridges between paddies. My legs ached, my breath tore, but father gave no mercy. We carried buckets of water from the well to the shrine of the hill. If I spilled even a drop, I had to begin again. My shoulders shook, but I learned to move steady and sure. In winter, father led me to the river that cut through the valley. I stood barefoot in its icy water until I could no longer feel my toes. "Still yourself," he said. "The cold will not kill you. Fear of it will." We climbed hills barefoot, our souls hardened against stone and thorn. We chopped wood until our palms bled. My uncle, who sometimes watched, only laughed. "Every bruise is a teacher," he said. "The body learns faster through pain than through words." By the time I was 10, my body no longer belonged to me. It was being shaped. The next lessons required stillness. We sat in silence in the fields after dusk, listening. At first, I heard nothing but my own restless breath. But slowly, the night opened itself to me. The drip of water from an irrigation channel, the rustle of mice on the grass, the faint wing beats of bats darting above the paddies. Master Notori, a stern man with a voice like gravel, explained, "Your ears must be lanterns in the dark. Birds will tell you when men move. Insects will fall silent when stranger approaches. Listen as though your life depends on it, because it will." Our eyes were trained as well. We studied footprints in mud, learning to tell sandal from straw boot, man from woman, soldier from farmer. We noticed how smoke curled when wood was wet, and how the breeze shifted when rain approached. The world, I learned, was always speaking. Most men never heard it, but a shinobi must. Stealth was my greatest challenge. In the cedar forests, an elder walked ahead while we followed. Every snapped twig meant punishment. Every glimpse of us through the trees meant another run up the mountainside. At night, we lay flat in the tall grass while patrols with lanterns passed nearby. Mosquitoes bit my skin, sweat stung my eyes, but I dared not move. If the guards saw so much as a twitch, I had failed. We learned to place our steps on roots or stones, never on loose leaves. We learned to move with the wind, to let its whispers hide the sound of our breath. Sometimes we were ordered to crawl beneath the wooden floors of storehouses and remain there for hours while villagers walked above, our bodies still as earth. Failure was constant, but slowly, step by step, my body grew quieter. At 12, my father placed a short sword in my hands. "Not for glory," he said, "but for necessity. If you have drawn it, you have already failed in silence." Weapons were tools, nothing more. We practiced with rope and hook, learning to scale walls or slip through high windows. We carried bamboo tubes, which could hide a message or serve as a breathing reed in the river. We ground pepper and ash to make powders that blinded eyes or confused dogs. The bow became my companion in the woods, its string twanging softly as I brought down birds for the cooking pot. We also practiced with the kunai, not as the throwing knives the storytellers speak of, but as digging and climbing tools. Every tool was taught with the same lesson: use only when you must. One summer night, Father handed me the folded paper sealed in oil. Take this to the next village, he said. No one must know you carry it. The road wound between fields of millet and rice. Frogs croaked, lanterns flickered at farmhouses, but I could not enjoy the summer night. At the checkpoint near the bridge, two samurai stood guard, spears in hand. Their armor was lacquered black, their crests glinting in the torchlight. My legs trembled as I approached. Where are you going, boy? One asked. I bowed low, eyes to the dirt. To visit my cousins. My voice crackled as any nervous child's. The guard barely looked at me before waving me through. I walked on, my back damp with sweat. When I returned, Father examined the seal. It was untouched. He gave no smile, no praise, only said, "Next time, you'll go farther." The years that followed tested me harder than any single trial, but there was no turning back. We were denied food, sent to march hungry for days. My stomach ached as I chewed bark, dug roots, or caught frogs in streams. We slept in forests without fire, wrapped in straw mats, our breath fogging in the cold. We learned to move unseen even when exhausted, to carry water without spilling a drop even when shaking from hunger. Failure meant punishment, more running, more pain. But the hardest lessons were of the heart. A shinobi must not boast, Master Notori said. Boasting makes you careless. A shinobi must not hate. Hatred blinds. You must be patient as the mountain, soft as water, unseen as wind. At times I envied the samurai. They rode through villages with banners and bright armor, earning glory in battle. We were told to celebrate a victory in silence. Yet I began to understand. A samurai showed their strength to the world. We hid ours, and that was the greatest power. At 15, I was chosen to accompany Hanzo, a senior shinobi, on my real first mission. Our Lord wished to know how many soldiers a rival clan had gathered beyond the mountains. We dressed as merchants, baskets with dried fish slung over our shoulders, straw hats pulled low. By day, we walked the markets, smiling, bowing, telling our wares. I ate mullet dumplings with miso and the street stall, laughing like any boy. By night, we crept along the walls of the town, counting guards, marking the placement of torches, tracing the rhythm of patrols. Hanzo showed me how to draw maps from memory, scratching with a stick in the dirt, roads, rivers, wells, gates, and even the trees near the barracks. Nothing was too small. When we returned, our Lord studied the map in silence, then nodded once. That was all. But it was understood. Silence was approval. Now at 16, I no longer ask when I will be ready. Each day I rise before the rooster crows, running the ridges with the mist at my heels. I sharpen my ears in silence, watching the world reveal its secrets. I train my body to endure hunger, pain, and cold without complaint. I am not a samurai. I will not stand on a battlefield beneath banners. My name will not be sung in poems, but my path is no less vital. If I succeed, the world will never know my name, and that is how it should be. I am a shinobi.